Check, 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 check. What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? We're live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? What is up? What is up? You already know it's your boy Kagi back at it again with a new interview. You guys know every single week I'm bringing interviewing founders, and of course, one of the founders I wanted to interview is Jihoz. I have interviewed him before, and it's been 3 years. 3 years since I first interviewed him, and a lot has changed. There's a lot to unpack in Axie Infinity, a lot to unpack in Ronin. And of course, I'm drinking the fucking juice. So don't forget to use code JUICE in the marketplace, all right? Cool. Jihoz, would you use the code JUICE in the marketplace? Yes or no? It's the best code, right?
Probably not.
But... Oh, hey, okay. This interview is over, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Yo, Jihoz, welcome, man. I'm glad to have you here. If you guys don't know who Jihoz is, he's one of the founders for Axie and Ronin. So introduce yourself for the people that might watch this later and they might not know who you are, right?
Yeah, my name is Jiho, also known as Jeffrey. And yeah, I'm a co-founder of Sky Mavis. We're the inventors of Axie Infinity and Ronin. And yeah, I grew up as a gamer and a collector. Like I grew up playing StarCraft, Diablo, Pokemon. Like I kind of really like Blizzard, Nintendo, Blizzard and Nintendo games. That was kind of my jam, right? So like I also was early to World of Warcraft. Like I played when it was initially released. My mom actually sent me to boarding school because I was playing like too much WoW. So yeah, that's me. Like I studied military and economic history, and yeah, I'm a co-founder of Sky Mavis. So I actually found Axie as a community member. So I was one of the early NFT collectors, breeders. I discovered NFTs through CryptoKitties, which was kind of like the first thing to get more than 10,000. You know, I think there were around 80,000 people who owned CryptoKitties back in, December 2017, January 2018. I was part of that early community. And I thought, hey, like this is interesting, right? This would have made my life a lot easier when I was playing Diablo, Neopets, selling WoW Gold, to have like a trustless way to not get scammed, right? Like as a kid, I was meeting my parents, I was meeting strangers in public with my mom sometimes to like sell stuff, right? So I kind of already, I really understood some of the basic benefits of Web3. So yeah, I found CryptoKitties, and then, just like now, right? Like people are looking for the next thing, right? The next whatever.
The next
people were looking for,
okay.
People were looking for the next Axie, right? Back then, people were looking for the next CryptoKitties.
Mm-hmm.
And I found Axie. I was like, yo, this might have a shot. There was actually a community member who showed me, like in Discord DMs, like, yo, you got to check out this Axie thing. I joined the Discord. And yeah, I really like the art, right? I thought that's something that combined CryptoKitties with Tamagotchi and Pokemon. Something like that would have a chance at mass appeal and getting it beyond just like a small group of nerds.
Yeah,
so,
and it did.
Yeah.
It did. Now let's start at the beginning because this is really, really important. Let's start at the beginning. Axie Infinity goes live around 2018, right? And during the bear market, which is really, really important. This context is important for the people that might not know this. You guys partner with something like Engine Marketplace. It didn't work for you guys. It was a marketplace. It was yeah. And then you guys partnered with Loom, but you also went into Engine as well, into the marketplace, and then pulled out. Because I did see there
was something where like the Loom, there was something with like Engine's mobile app or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I remember that you guys kind of pulled out. It didn't work for you guys.
We're doing experiments, right? With like some of the early people that we thought might be interested or legitimate builders, right? Like Loom Network was there. Yeah. Engine, right? Like people that are kind of focused on gaming, Web3 gaming, that we thought, had the right intention at least, right?
Right, of course. And then obviously Loom Network didn't work for you guys for X or Y reason. And then you guys were stuck basically with Ethereum, the gas fees. And you guys decided to pivot and say, you know what, we're going to create the Ronin Network. And this was probably end 2019, early 2020, where you guys thought about this and kind of put it to work, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like I think we announced Ronin in 2020, maybe like June, because I was in quarantine. When I remember coming up with the name for Ronin when I was in quarantine in Korea, and it was right before my wife's birthday, which is June 26th. So maybe like June 23rd, 2020, around there is like when we announced Ronin and kind of announced the name of it to the world. We've been thinking about it for maybe, a year or so before that. And we always kind of had our own idea to have our own chain. That was even part of the idea around Loom, was to have your own dApp chain that kind of connected to the main side chain or whatever. So this idea of an application specific chain was something that we'd known about like since the beginning, like 2018. But then it was kind of like, okay, we're gonna do it ourselves.
Yeah, and you guys went ahead, you did it. It was super, super smooth. Probably one of the smoothest chains out there. I know people have asked me many, many times. They think I'm doing it because maybe I want to look good in front of Axie. I don't know if I have proven that I don't kind of do that, right? Like if I like something, I say. If I don't like it, I say it. So it's kind of weird, but it's probably one of the best chains right now, if not the best chain for gaming. But anyways, it's going smooth, and then you guys get hit with the hack, right? You guys get hit with the hack. Now, I don't want to go too much into the hack, but it's an important part of the history, right? It's an important part of the history, and I want to know what you guys learned from the hack, and can you walk us through kind of those painful moments that you guys went through, and how you guys came out on top? Like, how was it? How was that process?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a difficult moment, right? Like in that moment, you're thinking that all of your hard work might vanish. And I think, to be honest though, I think looking even from the outside, it might seem like it was harder than it was. Why? Because like when you're being attacked, when there's like some kind of crises, like good teams at least, right? It's like, okay, let's just focus on doing the next thing, right? So it's like, okay, right? Like it's kind of, you're playing this chess game where you're in maybe a really bad position on the board, but it's like, okay, right, there is almost like a correct next move. And it was just an obsession about figuring out what is the next move, what is the next thing in order to move forward and make sure that, right, we're able to survive and keep pushing, right? And there was also the understanding like that these existential moments, these moments that almost kill you, it's like, yeah, becoming a Saiyan, right? Or a Super Saiyan, right? Like when you go to the brink of death and then make it back, you become stronger than you were before. So obviously it was like, okay, let's refill the bridge. Let's make sure that, all the funds on Ronin are backed one-to-one. And let's upgrade the security. Let's onboard more validators. And let's keep
which you have now, which you guys have, right? How many do we have now in Ronin? I say we, like if I own one, but yeah.
Yeah, there
like 20, 21, 22, 23, something like that, or more.
Let me just make sure.
Okay. Anyways, hey, thank you, chat, for being here. I appreciate it. At the end of this interview, by the end,
22 validators right now.
All right, 22. So, chat, by the end of the interview, if you guys have any questions, we'll shoot a quick Q&A. Okay, so don't worry, keep shooting your questions, keep chatting there. We got you. All right. So, So lately, Ronin has a lot of good things. Let's jump over this, right? You guys made it out of this massive, crash. This hack. I was part of the side. I was really, really mad, obviously. I put a lot of time and effort into Ronin, into Axie. It's just like my heart was there, right? And I was really, really mad. I didn't know how to fucking deal with it. And the best way was just to fuck this, right? But anyways, I'm back. I actually never left. But anyways, Ronin has a lot of good things happening right now. Can you describe how does Ronin differentiate from other chains? Because there's a lot of competitions. Like, what's the vision of Ronin, right? Ultimately, like, what are we looking forward to?
I mean, so what you see with gaming launchers, right? With the game launchers, is that always they have some flagship game, some flagship IP that aggregates the community, gets the actual users, and then people want to actually use that game launcher, that game distribution platform, right? So the idea is that, a lot of people are going to say, hey, let's be the infrastructure provider for Web3 games, whatever, because that's the largest market, right? So it allows them to raise. But the key differentiator is that everyone say they're going to onboard millions to Web3. We're the only ones that have actually done it, right? And we're the only ones that have like a real actual community here. And yeah, so this community, right, also they were able to farm the RON token, right, like using all the resources from the Axie universe, right, AXS, SLP, etc. So that actually has aligned the incentives of these really strong Axie community with the underlying gaming infrastructures, right? So it's like, first we had all these Axie gamers. Now something that's emerging is the Ronin gamer, right? And it's a group of people that love Ronin. They're obsessed with Ronin. They understand Web3, but they're also gamers. And they want to play and test and check out all the new games that are on Ronin. And then in turn, that becomes a major magnet for the best games that want to integrate Web3, because if you're a legitimate builder, you want to go where the actual players are, because that's actually how you win long term, is by actually being a successful game and being successful, right? I think the incentives in Web3 can sometimes be perverse, right? Where there are actually projects that can succeed financially for the founders without them actually succeeding in terms of building a great product. But that's still small potatoes, right? Like, yeah, maybe the founders can do okay. But if you actually want to create something huge and a large business, you need to actually have users. And so what we see is that the serious builders in Web3 gaming that actually want a community and actually want to build the right way, Ronin is usually their number one or very, very, very high up on their list.
Unless they're jealous.
Unless, they're always haters. But yeah, like, so what we see is that, and our approach is a little bit different, right? Because we want to curate and make sure that there's a certain level to the games that we're having on the chain. And it's a little bit contrarian, right? Because in Web3 and crypto, people were like, oh, let's be open to everything. Let's just onboard everything. But that can be for a gaming chain, that might not be the best path, right? Because you might be getting stuff that's spamming the chain with different useless transactions, and it could be reducing the user experience for the other games, right? You could also be onboarding teams that are doing like totally crazy NFT sales that are extracting, right, all the capital out of the ecosystem, and then, right, creating kind of aftershocks or negative effects, right? So we also have this curated approach where we want to be like the Harvard or the Yale, the Stanford of gaming chains.
All right, sounds good. I definitely seen a lot of people say, hey, when are you gonna open the chain? When this, when that? And I'm like, look, if I want an super open chain, I have many other chains to go to right now. I actually like the fact that I go to the Ronin chain and I feel safe, like 100%, almost at 100%, because you never know, unless it's an external link somewhere, somebody sends it to me. But if I am in the ecosystem inside, I feel 100% safe. I can't say that for every other chain, and I'm okay with it. I'm not against it, because I'm an explorer in this ecosystem. But when it comes to Ronin, if I'm in there, I know I'm safe. So I'm not quite sure opening is the best strategy, but we'll talk about it later on in this interview. Now, let's walk through some of the products, because you guys have delivered an insane amount of products. Like, it's insane. I was looking through and I was just like, holy crap. And I'll walk you through them and you can tell me a little bit more about them, right? So here we go. Can you see this on screen, Jihoz?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We got the Mavis Market. This is something new that you guys came up with. This is obviously a marketplace where you're going to be launching collections. We're going to be able to trade different NFTs for different games, for different PFPs like CyberKongs. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Mavis Marketplace, and is it going to be integrated with the Axie Marketplace, right? Because right now it's separate, and I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense long term.
Yeah. All right. So why do we have the Mavis Market? Well, a great gaming chain needs to also have a great distribution mechanism and marketplace for NFTs, right? That's one of the key, right? If we say that Ronin is the best place for Web3 gaming infrastructure, like, it needs to have a freaking amazing marketplace, right? That is like the, almost the lifeblood of the NFT distribution mechanism. And you want to be able to use it as a kind of a launchpad mechanism, right? So we tried this out with the Genkai, right? Like, can we onboard this other community to our chain? Can we smoothly right, facilitate some sort of an NFT distribution or sale, right? And we proved that, right? It was the smoothest mint of all time. We sold out all the Genkai, through all 3,000 of them within less than an hour. Right, so that's what we need. And then another thing that we see, or another problem statement, right? What problem are you solving? Another problem statement is that we see it at fucking on Ethereum, right? Like all the different chains, all the different marketplaces are in this race to zero when it comes to the creator fee. And that's not good, because you want to have aligned incentives between the game developers and the community, where the game developers make money when the community makes money, right? Like, and the best way to one of the best ways to do that is through like the creator fee, right? Where it's, the game devs, for example, can take part of the marketplace commission and that's or part of the marketplace trading volume, and that's a great way to align incentives with the players that are also trading, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so and the thing about Ronin is, because we have this more curated approach, not just with the games, but also with smart contracts and applications, right? Is that if there's a application, if there's a marketplace, that wants to deploy on Ronin and get rid of creator fees, right? Like, that's not going to happen because of the way that the chain is structured, right? We could even use the validators to say, in the future, maybe, right? The validators say, we're not letting any other marketplace that cuts fees compete, right? So that's the idea, right? Is like, you need a great place to distribute NFTs, and you also need a way to protect the creator royalties, and that's what Mavis Market is about.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think that's important. That's a big topic right now, all over every single chain, It's so weird to me, all of this happening. It's just so weird. This tactics to bring users, and it's just so weird. Taking creator fees, and it's super weird to me. Anyways, let me jump into some of the creator things here. Is there ever going to be a creator code for the Mavis Marketplace? Because if we're gonna have gaming in here, and we have the creator code for Axie, is it ever going to be implemented for the Mavis Marketplace? Because that would be really, really interesting to see that.
It's possible. It may be that the way that we did it with the Axie code is outdated, right? That might be primitive, soon or something like that, right? That might need to be upgraded, and any type of referral system for the Mavis market, there could be a much better way. So, I think stuff like that works and is really important, but I don't want to commit to doing it the exact same way, or definitely doing it until I know more.
No, you have to. I am the CEO. I'm telling. All right, you. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next one. So, what is Project T? Project T is a social experience for Axie. What is the vision? What is the future of this? Are you guys experimenting? I mean, this is one of the coolest things that you guys have done in the past year, I would say, or 2 years, to be honest. Even if it's simple, it just gives us this sense of kind of community here. So, can you speak more on this?
Yeah. So Project T is right now, it's a prototype. It's very early. Something that we've only just started working on this year. But we wanted to create a social place for people to be able to flex their Axies. That was the main direction from the founders. We're like, hey, let's create a social place where we can hang out, talk to each other, play some mini games, and really flex our Axies, right? There's also this idea of Axie Core and Axie experience points. And it's like, can we create some sort of a place that's more catered towards the collectibles getting progression? Because, one of the things that we see in Origins, right, the very competitive card battler, is that it's hard to kind of use your collectible Axies there and for them to be strong and to gain experience points, right? So it's kind of like, this is more of like a collector and flexing type of vibe. And what are some of the interesting behaviors that we've seen? First, people have been having meetups and hanging out and meeting other members of the community in Project T, right? I introduced someone to the community yesterday saying, hey, this is Psyduck. He's actually the person that I bought my first NFT from. He's now in the Axie community. And people were like, oh, I know him. I see him and I've talked to him in Project T, right? So it's like a way for people to bond and meet each other. Another thing, a behavior that we're seeing is that people have, they will be like, oh, keep seeing this Frosty Axie, right? I keep seeing CAGY's Frosty Axie. Yo, those are sick. I'm gonna go buy one, right? So it's actually marketing for the collectible assets in the ecosystem because, right, it's a flex, right? And you know what we see in PFPs is like so boring, dude. Like flexing PFPs on Twitter, no. Like flexing NFTs in game to cause like purchasing behavior. Like I think that's part of the future.
You know what's boring? I'll tell you what's boring. If Coco goes in here with all his Axies and you say, hey, I want that one, you won't be able to get it. That's kind of boring. Coco, stay out of the social experience, my friend. Don't go in there. Anyways,
people might see his and want to buy it, you know.
True, because he does have a few for sale, so he's always willing to trade. He's always willing to trade. That is true. That is 100% true. Anyways, let's go into the next thing here. We got Axie Homeland, bro. Axie Homeland, you guys just released a new update. Axie Homeland used to have something like a social experience, and we don't have to touch on this too much, but this looked really, really nice. Is this something that you guys are scratching off and just going with the most recent kind of look and what the game is today, which is almost like it's a farming game, right? It's a farming game. So
there are, you know, people definitely want the social features in Homeland, and you know the team is aware of that. And I think there are certain features that will that are on the roadmap that might be conducive to more collaboration, teaming up. So yeah, that's my understanding. I definitely understand that. People want some sort of a social interaction in Homeland. But the recent release with Homeland has been we're starting the transition of the land staking rewards, being funneled into the game.
Absolutely, I see this here. Walk us through this. This is really interesting. So we have a new system, right, of rewarding instead of leaderboards. I read a little bit. It looks interesting to me. I'm gonna jump in deeper into this. Probably make a video on it because I am the number one Axie influencer, so I have to make a video. But walk us through a little bit of this, man.
Yeah. So I've been playing, so basically, 20% of the land staking rewards have been taken and used as a reward pool for the game. Basically, rather than actually in the past, in order to earn AXS and Homeland, there was a leaderboard format, right? This release moves away from that, and basically each plot can earn AXS. The amount that they can earn is determined by the type of plot it is, and kind of how premium that plot is. And there's a chance, basically to receive AXS when you're gathering, producing, crafting things, doing the passive adventure mode as well. And then there's also this kind of a mechanic called Moonfall, which is a little bit more RNG based. It resets every 8 hours. There's a certain number of Moonfalls per day, per server. And it kind of gets reset on an 8-hour timer. And so that's a little bit more of the...
So much product. Jesus Christ, you guys are delivering like crazy, bro.
But there are some issues. There is a lot of feedback around this release, but generally, we're moving away from So for those that might not know, last year we deployed this contract which allowed people to stake their land for Axis tokens, right? But that's not a game. That's DeFi, right? But what was the point of that was to build to buy our developers more time to help flesh out the experience and get it ready for the implementation of Axis reward loops. Why do we do it? Well, there have been people who have been holding on to their land since 2019, for almost 4 years or something like that, right? So that was the rationale. But now it's okay, we're moving away from that paradigm of passive staking rewards to active gameplay requirements for using your land. And it's that process is underway.
Nice, very, very nice. Yeah, I'm bullish. 100x, guys, 100x. Okay. All right, let's move on. There's a lot to cover, and we're gonna do it quickly, right? So we went through the Homeland. Cool. Talk to me about Mavis Hub. Mavis Hub is looking It's looking really nice right here. This is basically a hub for new games. We also got some green light going on here. Tell us a little bit more about this for the people that don't know about this. What is this? What is the Mavis?
So Mavis Hub is our futuristic game launcher from the future. So it's the place for us to, have our game library for Axie games, but also, you can see here with Machines Arena coming soon that we'll start to add non-Axie games from the Ronin Network pretty soon. So yeah, you can see the Sky Mavis developed games there, and then if you go to the green light, this is a new program that we just recently rolled out. And this is, more of a testing ground for games to get their builds in a safe way, right? So there are security reviews that go in to being able to list your game here, to be able to get some user feedback, and for us also, to be frank, to gather, info on the demand for the games, right? It's we can have our own opinion on whether a game is good, but we'll see what actually resonates with the community, right? So they can actually vote for their favorite games. So I see Sky Smash. I think Sky Smash, the reception has been pretty good.
Incredible. Bro.
Yeah, you like it. So yeah, it's this. So Sky Smash is like a Gunbound, right? So one of our ideas, right, is that Axie goes well with almost everything, right? Axie goes well if you combined it with Gunbound. Axie goes well if you combine it with Hearthstone. Axie goes well, if you combine it with Tamagotchi. Axie goes well if you combine it with Habbo Hotel, right? That's kind of like the Project T vibe, or I think Pony. It's also kind of Ponyland or whatever that thing is, right? So it's if you can find this amazing, cute, approachable IP with these other proven play patterns, and then you add in Web3 ownership and tokenomics and engagement loops, then it's that's the zone of genius that we operate in.
Yeah. No, this was really smart to involve the community. It's important that the community gets to kind of, in a way, kind of decide. And that's why I keep telling people, go play the games, go vote on them. Even if you don't like them or you don't like them that much, just vote. Just let your voice kind of be heard, because at the end of the day, if you don't vote, the games that are going to go in there is going to be based on the user feedback. So don't be mad when something is there that you don't like, or something that you do like is not there because you didn't vote. So it's important to go vote, and it's a simple vote. It's a yes or no. So just go for it. Anyways, let's keep going. That was really nice, the green light. Now I want to ask you a little bit more about, and we're reaching the end here, about the AXS governance. Is that something that is happening right now? I'm not really sure, because I've been out of this, out of the AXS and all of that stuff for a while. So how is that going, the governance?
Yeah, so actually, so basically we have created some sort of a process to start testing out different experiments and ideas and frameworks for community governance, right? Because there are actually a lot of things that could go wrong with the governance if we rush it, right? Someone, first of all, it could just be Sky Mavis determining everything because we have the most amount of AXS. Right. So then it's okay, that's pointless governance. Then there's also dangerous governance where, someone could, have a lot of AXS and say, hey, give all the treasury to me. Right. There are different ways to attack governance. And actually, a lot of the governance systems that are out there right now have problems. Right. So we kind of want to do it our own way. But to do it our own way and in a way that, makes sense, it's going to take some time. And it can't be just Sky Mavis coming up with ideas on how it will work, because that goes against the idea of governance. So what we've done is we've created this process called the contributor program, or the governance contributor program. And there are people, right? There are the town builders, which is kind of like a group of people that are working alongside Sky Mavis on some of these questions. Then there's electors who are more okay, who can, they're more recruiting people to the governance process. And then there are the contributors, right? And the contributors are doing different things, asking questions,
proposing, just saying things,
basic proposals, right? So in our first season of governance, season 0, we did a very light thing, right? It was can we run a proposal and get it funded and make it successful. And actually, it was kind of funny. It was like, okay, let's make a flag together as a community, right? So then it was like, okay, we have this budget. I think like maybe it was like $500 or something to find an artist and then to iterate towards a flag, right? So first they took proposals from different community artists showing their past work. And then like they voted and picked one of the designers. His name was Blaumitz. And he actually made like the flag that we were using back in 2021 for a lot of like community events, if people remember that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, Blaumitz would create some designs, and then people would like actually vote on like which of these designs looks the best, right? And then it was like, I think like 5 or 6 rounds of feedback. It took a while actually, right? Because when you're designing something with a ton of people, it's gonna, people are gonna have different opinions. And then there was like rounds of voting on which flag looked the best. And then eventually we did, decided on one, and that was, deemed to be the flag of the Axie community, right? So.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't know because hey, I'm kind of banned, on Axie Discord and on Axie Ronin. Let me ask you, can we propose to unban me? Is that a thing?
That's something that could be a better to be honest, better for the community to govern rather than Sky Mavis to be in control of it, right? Like to me, if Sky Mavis has to be the police, dude, like that's not making my life better, right? There is no freedom in control. I also want to be free, and I don't want to have to try and control everything or everything to be up to me or my team or Sky Mavis, because that's actually the opposite of freedom.
You don't want me to DM me and be like, yo, what's going on, man? Why this happened to me? That's what you don't want.
Really, it's better if the community can complain to each other and then resolve it among themselves, right?
I agree,
and things like that, actually could be the lowest hanging fruit. Disputes between people, right? Because
on CAGY, coming soon, guys. Coming soon. Anyways, bro, a few more things and we're out, okay? So this is really cool, okay? You guys implemented this one by one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But, at this point, we got Avatar, we got Axie Hangout, we got Showcase, we got badges. What are we looking at here? Is this kind of like a some kind of like a stats that we will be able to go maybe into something like Project T, click on somebody's profile and kind of see all of this, like Avatar, the Hangout, their Showcase, their badges? Because obviously in the website it's kind of cool too. It's cool, but
so I would say like
yeah, go ahead.
Identity is an important part of being a gamer, right? Like a lot of gamers define themselves based on what items they own, how their avatar looks, things like that. And identity is even more important in a Web3 where a lot of people prefer to obfuscate who they really are, right? And take on a different persona as well, right? So a lot of people, right? Coco, for example, right? We know no idea who he is, but we know who he is, right? Like, right? We know him by the axes he has, by the fact that he's a whale, whatever. So that's like an example that shows that, right? Like axes and NFTs and our achievements can be really key to defining our identity. And like I think it's also right. It's kind of also part of the viralization loop, right? It's like, oh, people can have better tools for using their Axies as their avatars, sharing their Axie collection. That's all going to be better, especially in a bull market when people are like really proud and people are more receptive. That it's kind of laying the foundation, right, for the next cycle, right? Because what we saw, right, and what you saw is that we did a lot of really cool stuff in 2018 and 2019. Even 20 parts of 2020, a lot of 2020, and people didn't really start to notice until the crypto market got more hot again, right? Mm-hmm. That's part of being a Web3 founder, to be honest. Obviously, you want to build, and you don't want to change anything about what you're doing based on the market cycle and the sentiment. But you also maybe understand that like part of it is like having enough stuff enough ammunition ready to go for the bull when it gets there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I really like what app.axie's been doing with the user profiles. The badges, right? That was something that just came out, right? It's like, oh, boom, the AxieCon badge. You were at AxieCon, the collectors, right? It's kind of like, right? Like also it reminds us of Pokemon, right? With the badges the badge system from even the show and the train and the gyms. So
Absolutely. No, this is really cool. And this would really, really look nice in something like Project T in the future. If you're hanging out with people, you click on their profile and you kind of see all their stats, their badges, and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I would say like being able to like inspect, right? Because like I was a big like, or I was the person jumping around in Orgrimmar, and it was nice if you had like a crazy sword. I had this sword Ash Candy, which I got from Nefarian, which is like the second raid in Vanilla WoW. And I would remember when I first got it, like, and I was just jumping around in Orgrimmar, like I would have like a group of people just following me at all times. And that's like, that's part of why we like nice things, right? Is like, and the inspect feature kind of, shows. That's kind of, for me, like a fun thing when I go into Project T, to be honest, is like people come up to me, they want to take pictures with me. That's nice for your ego, right? So.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Guys, get ready. If you guys have any questions, put some questions in the chat. We'll take some of these questions and shoot it at Jihoz quickly here. Now, Jihoz, we're approaching the end, bro. So we have one more thing I wanted to ask you. What do you think about this brand new game that is coming to Ronin? These guys are really, really experienced. I interviewed the founder of this game recently. You put me in contact. Actually, you made that happen. What do you think about this game? I mean, these people know what they're doing. They say they have learned a lot from you guys, but are you guys learning from them as well, from a Web 2 standpoint?
Well, yeah, I really like this. I really like this game. I've been playing it, and it's nice because it's nice and snappy, but it has a strategic element. It's kind of like like a combination of Clash of Clans and Clash Royale in a way, right? Or right, like some kind of a RTS, right? So like the troop placement is important, but also the build order and being aggressive, and even micro is important, right? Because you have to kind of move your troops around and focus fire, right? On like, you want to focus fire on the DPS or whatever, and then go towards the meteor units. So there's a lot of like really, really fast decisions that need to be made in this game. And they're actually quite new to working with us, so I'm still learning. One of the things that we try to do is we try to coach them in scalable ways. So like I have different documents that I share with them on like, here are the things that we've done, here's like some things that have worked for us, and then we also help more on a week-to-week basis, right? Like, oh, we have this launch coming up, what do you guys think about this? Can you help amplify from these different channels, right? So kind of more like support.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Look, one of the games that I have been enjoying for a long time is not a long time, but for 2 days now. Today's is Sky Smash. We have a tournament today. Have you played this game? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually played last night. I played last night, and yeah, I can see why people like it. It's relatively smooth, right? For like something that just came out, it works. The shooting, I guess, right, works the way that you would think it should work, right? And then it's just about getting like more used to it. So that's the key, right? Is like, you want the shooting mechanic to make sense. You want it to like be cool. So yeah, I played last night. I think there's still some balancing, right, that needs to be done. I saw that like I got on this like really crazy map, with intense angles. Like, see, this looks easier. But one of the maps that I was on, it was like pretty crazy with like really, really high angles needed. And then because people weren't hitting each other that often, like the healing was super OP, right? So I went to like round 180 or 150 or something like that.
Yeah, bro, I would be raging already. You already know I rage.
So anyways, but like definitely like this has been super cool. And then, so this is right, Axie Gunbound. You put Axie and Gunbound together, like it seems like it could work.
Yeah, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about this game, I do have a video on this. And today we have a community tournament at 7 p.m. Eastern. And what we're going to do, you're going to 1v1 me. I have, I think, a $40 budget. So we'll probably reward 20 people with brand new Axies. And you can get like super dope Axies for this game specifically for $2, less than $2, which is really cool because I was looking at Axies again and builds. And I was like, bro, this shit doesn't exist. I need to go make it. Just for this game. and it doesn't exist right now. So
That's
there's
one
an
of the cool things,
opportunity.
right? That's one of the cool things about a new game that uses the part system. It like creates value for Axies that used to just be floor Axies, right?
Absolutely. And it creates the desire to create new Axies, because people think that most of the builds have been done for Axie. Axie has billions of combinations if you actually do the math.
It's infinite combinations, right? So.
Yeah. So really nice, really nice. I actually did the math once for the combinations with my brother. I was like, yo, can you help me get the combinations for for how many?
Yeah, it's like a combinatorial.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, bro, we're at the end. Let's take some questions from the community. I got some community members here saying, are there plans to put land plots on the market for sale again? There's 1/4 was sold at one point. Is that something that you guys are looking into? Because I heard Psycho said once, everything that you sell is basically debt. So you got to be careful with selling stuff.
Yeah, we're not sure. I don't know right now. I don't want to set any expectations or make any agreements about the unsold land. I think the land team has their work, has a lot of work to do, and to focus on making the game better before we think about that.
Okay. Somebody said Jiho and Kagi marry me. Okay, sure. What else? All right, there's not much here. There's not many questions. I think most of the people watching right now know about Axie, right? This interview in reality is more for the people in the future. Some people don't see value in these interviews, but when I interviewed Jihoz back in 2020, nobody was watching that, right? And then when people came in, they went into the interview and they were like, oh, okay. So it got a couple thousand views. So this has the potential in the future to have the same impact, and people kind of see the whole thing where Axie's at the moment, right? In a couple months. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we get a couple million people back again. And that will be my last question to you. How do you see Web3 gaming evolving? And do you see an influx in the near future? How many, what's your time frame here? Do you care? Do you not care? Like, what is it? Where are you at?
The mark of a good team and a good community is, to do the same thing that you're doing in a bear market and a bull market. So to be really consistent. But of course, understanding the market cycle is also kind of important, right? Like you need to make sure that you have some ammunition, as I said, like in the tank. You need to also the bear market is a time to build and experiment with less. The bull market applies a lot of pressure to random stuff that you wouldn't think will suck up your time, right? Like, oh, the servers are going down. Oh, we need to hire an entire support team of people to answer all these questions. Those are things that we didn't have to think about in the bear market, right? And those are things that are less pressing for us to think about now, right? So your priorities and your ability to do things are different depending on the market climate, in my opinion, right? The bull market actually creates a lot of problems. Whereas bear markets have other problems. So you gotta be flexible, but yeah, I think in the bear market you want to be doing things that are experiments that give you a chance of doing something innovative or noteworthy that people will be like, when they come later, be like, wow, that's actually really cool that they've been doing that for so long. Right. So I think some of the things around Axie upgrading, AXP, obviously building out this entire suite of games in the Axie universe. Obviously, having the best Web3 gaming launch infrastructure, NFT launchpad, being able to build up that capability, right? Like maybe when the bull market comes, there are going to be a lot of teams that want to launch gaming NFTs and projects on Ronin. So we want to have so right now, we're being more selective, but as more really great teams enter the space over time, right, you're going to want to be able to ramp up to accommodate that demand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Bro, it was an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you. I think I was just a kid when when I interviewed you. You were a kid too. We're still kids, but we have grown a little bit from the past 3 years. We have gone through a lot. And yeah, thank you for doing this interview, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. If you guys are looking to get into Axie, into the Ronin